Good morning, class. Continuing with the last lecture, one example is remaining, which is not completed. So, the example is find the Fourier cosine transform of fx equal to, and hence in the hence part, we have asked that the Fourier sine transform of this another function phi x equal to x upon 1 plus x square. So, for Fourier cosine transform, we use the Fourier cosine transform formula. Then we put the fx value 1 upon 1 plus x square here. Then this example is, as the algebraic function is in denominator, so we can't solve this integration, or we can't use the UV rule or Lie rule to evaluate this integration. So we use the DUS rule. So after applying the DUS rule, we had some adjustment, that is, we multiply we multiplied by x to numerator and x to denominator, and then adjust the plus minus 1 to the numerator. So these two adjustments we have done, and then again for first integration we use the Diet formula of integration from 0 to infinity sin s x upon x dx. That was your hence part in previous example. So that hence part we used as a formula 0 to infinity sin s x upon x dx equal to pi by 2. So after putting this we use the, so and again after taking the adjustment to adjustment, you again apply the DUS rule. So this is the example of double DUS rule. So in double DUS rule we get the original example or original integration is on right side. It is obvious and common step in every DUS rule example that on RHS, after applying the RHS and after simplification some integration, we get the original integration, that is is value on the RHS always. So here after applying the double DUS rule we get the second order differential equation, and it is your linear differential equation that is having a degree 1. So this equation we have solved by this method, that is converted into D, then find the values of D and find the values of, or find the equations of CF, that is complementary function and particular integral. So we get the is value in terms of two constants because we have applied 2 times DUS rule. So here only remaining steps are to find the C1 C2 constants. So here in this third equation we put s equal to 0, that is initial condition, and again in original equation, that is equation number 1, we again put s equal to 0 here. So we get I0 equal to C1 plus C2, and in first equation we put s equal to 0, so we get I0 equal to 0 to infinity cos 0 is 1, so 1 upon 1 plus x square dx, and this integration we can solve by regular method, that is this is your formula of tan inverse x. From put the limit 0 to infinity we get pi by 2, so c1 plus c2 equal to pi by 2. So here this is your value of I0, and put the value of I0 here, we get c1 plus c2 equal to pi by 2. So this is your first equation in c1 c2, in which we have used the third equation and first equation of is equation, first equation, is equation, third equation. Both the equations are of is equations, and we use these two equations and we get the c1 c2 equation. Then in next steps we have to again find this c1 c2 another equation, and then we can solve these two c1 c2 equations simultaneously, and we will get the constants values, both the constants values. So here, as these first and third equation is already used for finding first c1 c2 equation, so in second part we can't use this first and third equation, we have to use the another equations. So which are they? So here second equation is there, so only one equation is remaining, that is second equation is of di by ds equal to. So now we have to use the equation number 2, and equation number 2 is of di by ds. So as to get the C1 C2 equation, we want two equations. In first equation we get two equations in is, that is first equation and third equation, and we get the C1 plus C2 equal to pi by 2. So in next part there is only one equation is remaining, that is second equation is of di by ds equal to, so this is your equation number 2, that is which is in the form of di by ds. Then again we want another equation which is not there but which is compulsory in the form of di by ds. So this equation is not there. All the equations are covered. First equation, third equation for first C1 C2 equation, and second equation for di by ds, that is second part. So with this equation we want the second equation in di by ds. So this equation we have to form from which equation? So here from third equation we have to find the di by ds value. So this is your second equation of di by ds. This is your equation number 2 which is already in the steps, which is in the di by ds, and we want another di by ds equation, and this equation we find from using third equation. How to use this third equation? That is, this third equation is of is, so we have to take the derivative of this equation number 3 with respect to s on both sides, so we get the di by ds equal to. So from 3 take the derivative on both sides, so I derivative with respect to s is di by ds, c1 as it is, which is your constant, e raised to s derivative is e raised to s because e raised to x derivative is e raised to x, plus c2 as it is, e raised to minus s derivative is, as e raised to x derivative is e raised to x, that is e raised to variable derivative is e raised to variable, but here s is your variable, so e raised to variable derivative is e raised to variable, but here e raised to variable is not given. Instead of variable we have given the another term, so we have to use the e raised to bracket formula, e raised to bracket into derivative of bracket, so e raised to minus s into minus s derivative because b value is your minus s. So minus s derivative with respect to s is minus 1. So we get this plus sign will change to minus c2 e raised to minus s. So this is your second equation in di by ds. Now we get two equations in di by ds. First equation is already given in equation number 2, and second equation we formed by using third equation, that is taken by taking the derivative of I with respect to s, or derivative of this equation number 3 with respect to s, we get the di by ds equation. Now we get two equations in di by ds. This is your second equation, and from third equation we get di by ds equation. Now in this two di by ds equation put s equal to 0. So in second equation put s equal to 0, so di by ds at s equal to 0. So you can write this notation, or you can write di by ds at s equal to 0. You can use any notation, is equal to minus pi by 2 as it is, plus 0 to infinity. So here put s equal to 0, so sin 0 is 0. So 0 upon x into 1 plus x square is 0. So this integration becomes 0. So we get di by ds at s equal to 0 is minus pi by 2. Then in next di by ds equation, this is your next equation. So put here, you can take this equation as a star. So put s equal to 0 in this star equation. So di by ds at s equal to 0 is equal to e raised to 0 1, e raised to minus 0 again 1, so c1 minus c2. So this is your second equation and this is your first equation. So from these two equations we can conclude that this is the step that from equation 1 and 3, that is is, from two is equations we get c1 c2 equation, that is first equation, and from second equation di by ds, and again from third equation we get di by ds equation. So from these two di by ds equations we want again the another c1 c2 equation. For that c1 c2 equation we are doing these steps. So what are these steps? Put s equal to 0 in this second equation and in this star equation. So we get these two equations in which the left side is same. Hence, the right side should be same. So, we get C1 minus C2 equal to minus pi by 2. So, this is your next equation in C1, C2. So, solve this 5 and 6 equation, that is here C1, C1, C2 minus C2. So, just only add equation number 5 and equation number 6. We get C1 plus C2 equal to pi by 2. C1 minus C2 equal to minus pi 2. Just add these two equations. So, C1 plus C1 is 2C1. Pi by 2 minus pi by 2 is 0. So, we get C1 equal to 0. Put this C1 value here 0. So, C2 equal to pi by 2. So, put this C2 value only pi by 2 because C1 value is 0. So, we get Is equal to 0 into e raised to s, that is 0 plus C2 value is pi by 2 e raised to minus s, and this is your final answer. So, these are some steps which are remaining in a previous lecture because of there is a problem with the charging. So, next example is in this example the second part is remaining, that is hence derive the Fourier sine transform of phi x equal to x upon 1 plus x square. So, here to find the Fourier sine transform, this equation comes under the hence part. So, again these steps are not followed in the hence part. Hence part is obtained from the first half part answer. So, here phi x is given, the function is given x upon 1 plus x square. So, here to find the Fourier sine transform, this is your formula for Fourier sine transform, that is fx, fx, instead of fx we have given phi x, another function. Fs phi x equal to 0 to infinity fx sine sx, or fx means phi x. So, put here phi x value, that is x upon 1 plus x square. So, this is your hence part. So, in first half part we have this answer, that is this answer. Is means your cosine transform integration 0 to infinity 1 upon 1 plus x square cos sx dx has we get the value is equal to, that is this integration cos x upon 1 plus x square dx equal to pi by 2 e raised to minus s. So, this is your first half part answer. So, we have to use this answer to get this integration, that is Fourier sine transform answer. So, how to get this integration from this, because this is your first half part answer and this is your hence part, that is Fourier sine transform. So, from this, in this first half part answer there is one integration on left side. So, from this integration we want, or we have to obtain this integration. So, what is the difference? There is x is extra and instead of cos there is term sine term. So, what is this step? So, this is your important step to find the hence part answer. So, here again we have to take the DUS rule on both sides. So, if we take the DUS rule, so we get 0 to infinity as it is. So, this is the integration with respect to x, that is x is your variable. So, we have to take the derivative on both sides, that is we have to apply the DUS rule with respect to s, that is your rule, DUS rule. So, 0 to infinity as it is, 1 upon 1 plus x square as it is, which is your constant with respect to s, and cos sx derivative is minus sin sx into sx derivative is x with respect to s. We are taking the DUS rule. Dx is equal to pi by 2 as it is, e raised to minus s derivative is e raised to minus s into minus s derivative is minus 1, that is minus pi by 2 e raised to minus s. So, simplifying this minus sign get cancelled, we get 0 to infinity x upon 1 plus x square sin sx dx equal to pi by 2 e raised to minus s, and this is your hence part, and it has the answer pi by 2 e raised to minus s, because this integration is your hence part integration. So, to get the hence part, in hence part we have asked the sine transform formula or sine transform, Fourier sine transform for the another function, that is x upon 1 plus x square. But this is the not the common usual steps we have to do as we have done in finding the Fourier cosine transform. This Fourier sine transform we have to find which comes in the hence part, under the hence part. Hence we have to use the first half part answer to get the hence part answer. So how to get the hence part answer from this first half part answer? Just we have taken the DUS rule on both sides, we get the hence part answer. So this is the double DUS rule example. Next example is solve the integral equation 0 to infinity f theta cos alpha theta d theta, and we have to solve this integration, but this integration answer is given, that is 1 minus alpha when alpha is in between 0 to 1 and otherwise 0 when alpha greater than 1. So here the variables are different, theta and alpha. So to get the formulae easily or in minimum time, we can replace these variables alpha and theta in our formulae variables. In formulae, the variables are s and x. So we change these variables as f theta, means in formulae we have fx there. So we replace here theta by x and alpha by, if we replace this fx cos alpha x dx. So instead of alpha, what we have to replace? Because in formulae there is a term cos sx. So here x is we got here. So we want s. So replace alpha by s. So we get this formula in known variables. That is, first convert this given example into our notations, 0 to infinity fx cos sx dx, and this is given, we replace the alpha equal to s. So the right side is 1 minus s when s is in between 0 to 1 and otherwise 0 when s greater than 1. And this integration is your cosine transform notation, that is FCS. That is, in this example we have given FCS equal to 1 minus s with these two conditions. So to solve the integration means to find this original function, that is to find this fx value. To find the integration means, what is the main function inside this integration sign? Fx is your main function. So to find or to solve the integration means we have to find the fx value. And how to find the fx value? In formula you can see that fx value we get from the inverse Fourier transform formula. Fx value, fx equal to fx equal to fx equal to. So here it is fixed that one point we can note that we have to find the value of fx means we have to use the inverse Fourier transform formula. So here this formula is for, or this left side integration is of cosine transform integration, that is FCS equal to. So hence use the inverse cosine transform formula. So inverse cosine transform formula is fx equal to 2 by pi 0 to infinity FCS cos sx dx. So put the FCS value, because this integration is your FCS value and FCS value is given in the example. So FCS value is 1 minus s, otherwise it is 0. So we don't need to think about this second integration because the FCS value is 0. So there is no need to take this 0 value because all the terms will be 0. So take only first value, that is 1 minus s, and its limits are 0 to 1. So this 0 to infinity limits will change to 0 to 1 because these limits are for s. So s condition is given here in the example, 0 to 1. So 0 to infinity replaced by 0 to 1. FC's value is 1 minus s cos sx dx. Now to find the fx means to evaluate this integration, and this integration we can evaluate by UV rule, because here trigonometric function by lead sequence, trigonometric, and this is not logarithmic, not inverse trigonometric, not trigonometric, not exponential. So this is your algebraic equation. So A letter comes first and then T. So this is your U and this is your second function V. So in this 1 minus S, its first derivative is 1 derivative is 0, minus S derivative is minus 1, minus 1 derivative is 0. So that is we get the 0 derivative at second step of this U. So we get the derivative of U 0 at the second step, hence we can use the UV rule. So UV rule is keep this 2 by pi as it is and apply the UV rule. So UV rule is UV1, that is U as it is, U is your 1 minus S, V1 means cos Sx integration. So cos Sx integration is, we have to use cos B integration formula. So cos B integration is sin B upon derivative of B. So cos Sx integration is sin Sx upon derivative of Sx. Sx derivative with respect to S, because this is your integration with respect to S. So Sx derivative with respect to S is x. Then minus U dash V2. U dash means its next derivative. One derivative is 0, minus S derivative is minus 1. We are taking the derivative with respect to S. Then with respect to S, 1 upon x is constant, so write as it is. 1 upon x is constant, write as it is. And sin Sx integration is, so use sin B integration formula. Sin B integration is minus cos B upon derivative of B. So sin Sx integration is minus cos Sx upon derivative of Sx with respect to S, that is x. So in total we get minus 1 upon x square minus 1 upon x square into cos Sx. Cos Sx. Simplify this. Minus minus plus again minus cos Sx upon x square and plus 1 minus S into sin Sx upon x. So put these limits. So these limits are for S because this integration is with respect to S. So here put S equal to 1 and S equal to 0. So here put S equal to 1. So 1 minus 1 0. So this get 0. Then minus minus plus again minus cos 1x, that is cos x upon x square. And then for lower limit S equal to 0. So sin 0 is 0. So first term again 0. And cos 0 is 1. So this minus 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 and lower limit minus sign, that is 4 times minus sign, that is plus. Plus cos 0 is 1. So 1 upon x square. So write in reverse order, that is denominator is same. So 1 minus cos x upon x square. So this is your fx value. Fx value means your answer of this integration. Now in this example we ask the hence part. Hence part is your this. This is your hence part question. So how to find this integration? Now in this example we use first inverse Fourier cosine transform, and in hence part which formula we have to use, because generally in previous examples to find the transform we use Fourier transform formula. It will be Fourier cosine or sine, anything. And then to find the hence part we use inverse formula. But in this example we have done in reverse order. We use inverse formula first and then find the hence part. So for hence part we have to apply transform formula. Generally we use Fourier transform formula first and then for hence part we use the inverse formula. But in this example, as we have to find this evaluate this integration, that is to find the value of fx, and how to find the value of fx? Only when we use the inverse formula. So in first half part we use the inverse formula. Then to find the hence part, which formula we have to use? Its reverse. As inverse formula are used, so to find the hence part we have to use the transform formula. So we have to use in the reverse sequence. If in first half part if we use transform formula, then for finding hence part use inverse formula. So In this example, to find the fx value, we use inverse formula. Then to find the hence part, use the transform formula. This is the difference in this example and previous example. So to find the hence part, so in first half part, we use the cosine transform inverse formula. So to find the hence part, we use the transform formula. Which transform formula? Cosine transform formula. So the cosine transform formula is fcs equal to 0 to infinity fx cos sx dx. And this integration is given in the example 1 minus alpha, that is 1 minus s in between 0 to 1. S is in between 0 to 1. So this is given. Then put the value of fx, which is we got in first half part. So 2 by pi 1 minus cos x upon x square cos sx dx. So here 0 to infinity 2 by pi 1 minus cos x upon x square cos sx dx equal to 1 minus s. S is in between 0 to 1, otherwise 0 when s greater than 1. So this is your the step we got from the formula. But to find the hence part, so it is the common step that to find the hence part from our formula, this is our formula, simplified formula after putting the fx value. Just compare the hence part with our formula equation. So in this hence part, we want sine square term, and here there is no any sine term we got here. So to get the sine term, we have to use the trigonometric formula. Which trigonometric formula? So there is a formula 1 for 1 minus cos x. So 1 minus cos x direct formula, half angle formula is 2 sine square x by 2, because 1 minus cos theta is 2 sine square x by 2. This is your half angle formula. Original formula is 1 minus cos 2 theta equal to 2 sine square theta. And from this, if there is a theta, then this angle will be half. So 1 minus cos x or cos theta is 2 sine square theta by 2. So 1 minus cos x is 2 sine square x by 2 upon x square cos sx dx. Now we get sine square term. But sine square variable, here t is variable in hence part. So sine square variable we want. So we have to replace this. So here sine square variable we want. So here sine square x by 2 is present. So we have to replace this x by 2. So how to replace? We are using the substitution method. So put x by 2 equal to t. Again only sine square term is present in hence part, no any cos term. So but by the formula we get the cos term, but this should be vanished because this cos x is not present in the hence part. So how to vanish this cos sx? So put s equal to 0. So here put s equal to 0, here we get 2 by pi 0 to infinity 2 sine square x by 2 upon x square dx. Cos 0 is 1. 0 into x, that is 0. Cos 0 is 1. So dx equal to s equal to 0, we get 1 only. And no need to think about this second condition because the value is 0 here. So put s equal to 0 here, we get 1. So then again sine square variable is present. So replace this x by 2 by t. That is substitution method we have to use. So put x by 2 equal to t. X equal to 2t. So dx equal to 2 into dt. X derivative is dx, 2 as it is, t derivative is dt. So replace this whole left side integration in the form of t variable. So these are the limits for x, obtain the t limits. So put here x equal to 0 because lower limit is 0 and infinity, upper limit is infinity. Put x equal to 0, t is 0 by 2, that is 0. Put x equal to infinity, infinity by 2 is infinity, that is t is infinity. So the limits for t is 0 to infinity sine square, x by 2 is t, x square is 2t square, that is 4t square. Dx value is 2 dt equal to pi by this 2 into 2 4, 4 by pi. On the right side we get pi by 4. So simplify this, we get 0 to infinity sine square t by t square dt equal to pi by 2. So this is your hence part answer, and we got this hence part answer by using the cosine transform formula. Thank you.